Tamish, welcome to Defy the Odds. I'm grateful to have you on the podcast. And for people that don't know, Tamish is the co-founder of Ageless Galaxy, and I am very excited to dive deep into your life and the phases in your life. So the first phase I would like to talk about is before university. Who are you becoming and what shaped your identity then?
First off, thank you for having me.
Likewise.
I'm excited to talk about my life and stuff. And that's a very interesting question. I gotta go back into a time capsule.
Yeah.
What was I before university? Well, I could say I was just this rebellious kid.
Yeah.
I was really into punk rock music.
Yeah.
I always thought I had two doors in my life that I thought maybe I would just become like an artist or a designer or something like that.
Yeah.
Because that was the only thing I was good at in school.
Okay. Yeah.
And the other thing was I really loved to play drums, and that was the other door that I was looking to open. Maybe I would just join a band somewhere.
Yeah.
And as any kid, like you don't know what you want in life,
Yeah.
but I felt like those were the two things that I was gravitating to,
Yeah.
right? And that's kind of like where I ended up moving towards. But
Yeah.
in this case, I still surround myself by music related stuff, but as a part of the lifestyle. But now everything revolves around design,
Yeah.
fashion, creative thinking,
Yeah. Yeah.
community building, things
For
like
sure.
that.
Yeah. And then from there, moving on to university. When you think about success at that time when you entered university, what do you think that looked like to you?
Well, when I was in high school, I thought I was a really dumb kid because I could never get good grades for some reason. I just couldn't understand why. I was just always questioning
Yeah.
why classes are like this, and I was always going against the grain. I just passed,
Yeah.
but I would never be able to like come first in class or
Yeah.
second in class.
Yeah.
I would see these other kids and be like, damn,
How
how
did
you
you
doing it, But when I arrived at university,
Yeah.
and I decided to take the design program, and
Yeah.
that was around when I arrived to Malaysia,
Yeah.
right? That was kind of like the territory where I actually took interior design first.
Okay.
I was standing in line for graphic design, and I
Yeah.
remember my dad went around looking at all the other, departments, and
Yeah.
then, my dad coming back to me. By the way, I was born in India,
Yeah.
right? I grew up in Indonesia.
Okay.
I moved to Indonesia. My parents moved to Indonesia in 1996.
Okay.
And we lived in a little city called Bandung.
Okay.
Right? So my life was all around Indonesia and growing up here.
Yeah.
So I'm very Indonesian by heart,
Yeah.
and my habits and
Yeah.
how I am.
Yeah.
So coming back to that, right?
Yeah.
I am standing in line for graphic design,
Yeah.
and my dad's like maneuvering through the departments, and then he realizes, oh, what are you gonna be after this?
Yeah.
And he being like an Indian dad, of course, he was like, you have to make money,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and then he came back. He's like, why don't you take interior design? You could work at like a firm or some
Yeah.
some like that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I'll never forget this. And we got into an argument, and I was like, fine, and then I went into interior design.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was kind of like that situation where I took it with
Yeah.
like me being forced to do it.
Okay.
And then I did it. I did the first few months of it. I was getting the grades, but I wasn't like happy. I was just doing it cause.
Yeah, for sure.
But one thing I learned from interior design was the discipline of art and design. You have to go through that course,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
typography was a big thing. What do you call it? Perspective drawing was a big thing.
Yeah.
Human and organic form drawing was a big thing.
Yeah.
And you were forced to like get through that class. And I think the one thing I took away from that that developed my understanding of what I love doing today now is also typography, right? And that was kind of like where I did that for a bit, but I wasn't so happy. And then, you know, I came back to, by that time my parents already moved to Jakarta. And I came back to Jakarta and I was telling my dad, like, I really want to take the plunge here and do something that I'm actually interested in. And then after a few back and forths, and then I was like, hey, fine, you know what, do whatever you want. And then I was like, all right, but like, but then he gave me this ultimatum, like, if you don't get the grades, blah, blah, blah. But then I got into graphic design, and then I was set, like I was so on it. And then I just started really, really doubling down, and I cared about it. And and I think till today, that is what I do. Like, I haven't closed the Illustrator file. I mean, I have Illustrator open on my laptop. Even now, if I pull it out, it's open 24/7 since university.
Wow, that's
because
incredible.
I could just bang out graphics, like ideas, and it's just my board. Or I have a sketchbook and I'll just sketch or whatever, you know?
Wow.
So I think that just became my tool of trade, and that's where it led me to.
And you were in Canada when you.
So after university in Malaysia, then I had the opportunity to move to Vancouver, and I found this really cool. Well, first of all, they're really good at marketing, the school I went to. And I was able to get like the semi-scholarship to go there. I submitted all my portfolios and everything. And this was around the time where MTV was really killing it with like these motion graphic stuff. On like, if you watch those MTV idents between music videos, you would see those cool graphics. And I was like, I want to do that, you know? And there was this school that I signed up for that specialized in that. And I wanted to go and learn animation and motion graphics and things like that. But when I went there, I did specialize in that, but I fell in love with branding, and that's literally my future of my business was spawning from that department later on.
But you didn't know that. Did you want to stay in Canada after that as well?
Yeah, I did. I did want to stay in Canada, but for some reason, after graduating in Vancouver, life just took a super left turn on me, and then I had to come back and fix it all.
What left turn did life take on you that time?
So, like, as any 24-year-old, like, you finish school, you start applying for jobs, you know, and everything is going as it should, right? But for some reason, like, life didn't really let me have that. Like, it took, when I said it took a left turn on me, I got really sick. I started to lose like a lot of weight. You know, I had this cough that never left. And then I came back. At that point, I was like, I called my mom and I said, look, maybe I need to come back to Jakarta. Maybe I need to like reboot my mental or something, you know, like just take a small break from from the 4 years of like school and whatever that was. Came back to Jakarta. By the time I arrived, I was really skinny, and then I found out I was down to like 42 kilos.
Wow.
Yeah, it was terrible, you know. And then went for a checkup. My parents were really like, "What happened to you?" You know, and no one could answer what was this. And by that time, I was coughing so much, I had like a lump on my neck that never left.
Oh wow.
And then when I went to the doctors, they suspected tuberculosis or cancer. And that was kind of like where I went for more checkups, did the biopsies and everything, and then found out I had stage 4 cancer.
Wow.
Yeah.
At that time though, when you found out, that when the doctor said that, how did you feel at that moment?
Well, the first thing I said was like, I was like, what? How
did that happen?
Like, well, it was interesting because I remember that day very clearly. I was sitting in that room, and my mom couldn't handle it because I'm the only child, and my dad was just sitting there listening. You know, my dad's very composed, you know. And then I told my mom, I think maybe you should leave the room for a bit. Let me talk to the doctor. Because I wanted to have like a real talk with the doctor.
Of course.
And then the doctor just said, so the next course of your life to make this work is you have to go through chemo session for the next 6 months, every 2 weeks, 12 rounds. And, and I'm here listening to all of it, and I'm like, okay, cool. So then like, I never talked about like death or anything, you know? I never talked about all that. I was just like, oh, okay, so then I'll be fine, you know? So in my mental, from the get-go, I already was like, I'm gonna be okay, you know? And it only hit me when I got into like my 8th round of chemo. When I started, like I had one panic attack. Because chemo was just getting hard. You know?
For sure.
And I've said this before, like there's some good days, there's some bad days. Yeah, and when there was a bad day, I was like, shit, I'm gonna die. you know? But I did whatever I could to keep my mental together, and I'm here now. Like I've accomplished quite a lot after that, and I've been cancer free for quite a long time now, almost I think 20 years now. So.
How would you say you worked on your mental state at that time? Because it's not easy. This is a life-changing battle.
So I think for one, I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, stage 4, right? The thing about that is at stage 4, you have a 70% survival rate. From what I read, I don't know if it's even real. And the f***ed up thing was I couldn't find any case studies that showed survivors, you know what I mean? So there was little parts of like, you know, whatever. Let's not read what's out there, and let's just focus on what I have right now. And well, obviously I had a good support system. Like my mom and dad were very much around me around that time. And then I also supported myself with like, I had the right people around me, like friends, and
of course,
and I did more things that just made me happy, which was designing stuff and creating art and a lot of art. I did a lot of art during my cancer battle, and it was just that. Like I think being 24-year-old when you get it, I think it's a little bit more easier because you're younger, so you have a lot of. Your body has good fight in you compared to if you're like an older person. So I think that really was a good baseline for me to like just plow through it and get through it. So in terms of mentality, music, listening to a lot of music that really was touching my brain, you know, or like let's say I was 24. There was no way I was gonna let myself die like that. I had too much to accomplish. You know what I mean? So I think just to start with, I was like, this is not going to be my happy ending. This is not going to be the way I die. This is the dumbest way to die. You know, and I just could not let that be the okay. You know, so.
There was a band you listened to that later that we want to talk about. Which band was that?
Well, there was a lot of bands I was listening to. There was a lot of really dope bands that was getting me through it. But there's this one hardcore band that really like stuck with me. There's this band called Comeback Kid, which I'm wearing this shirt today. We recently did a crazy event with them here in Jakarta. We threw a hardcore show in the middle of SGBD, which is unheard of. It's like it doesn't get any more punk rock than this. If you do a punk rock show in the middle of like a business district, like I'm still reflecting because that was literally last week. You know what I mean?
Incredible, man.
Anyways, yes. So this band, like the thing with hardcore music and punk rock, a lot of people like that don't really understand the lyrics of what people are saying or what bands are trying to talk about. They always think, oh, it's too hard, it's too demonic, or whatever bullshit that is. But if you read the lyrics of like Comeback Kid, their lyrics is all about state of mind, motivating, rising from the ashes. What do you call it? There was one quote where they said, "We hope, we strive, we live, survive," and like that was something that always like you know stuck with me. You know, and that's kind of like why I gravitated to punk rock, because it was rebellious, but at the same time, it's music that kept my mental alive. And for us to be able to do a show with them was just not an ordinary show. It was a statement of like I'm pretty sure a lot of people were going through some hard times, and when they came to that show and watched that show, I'll tell you, the next day, the amount of DMs that I got, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, thank you! I needed this. I traveled so far to come and see it." Like,
that's amazing.
In my head, I'm just like, "That's why we did this."
Yeah, that's.
Do you know
amazing.
what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, but there's many other bands, that I've had a lot of attachment with. Like, there is a band called Matt and Kim. You've got Blink 182, other punk bands like MXPX, No Effects. Like, I was so into these kind of like that, these bands, because they were always talking about something silly or something that you can resonate with as a teenager.
Of course. Yeah. So let's move on to your rebuilding phase, bro. So when you got the news from the doctor that everything's going well, and you were in Jakarta then?
Yeah, so I got treated in Singapore.
Oh, Singapore, okay.
And I had to fly back and forth.
Yeah.
So every 2 weeks I would like get juiced up and then come back and then either pray to God that I'm not gonna feel like shit on this round, or get through it, and then once I'm okay, 2 weeks later fly back, and that was like my life for the next 6 months. Yeah.
So when did you start building Ageless Galaxy?
So Ageless Galaxy was actually a final year school project in Vancouver.
Okay.
Yeah, because around that time when I specialized in the branding course, my lecturer said like, hey, the assignment was to give you a fictional brand, right? Yeah. The fictional brand was based around whatever you want. You pick a company and then you build something around it, or you design a logo and the brand standards and the strategy and all that.
Yeah.
So around that time, I was also really big into streetwear brands that were big in the West, you know? There was brands like Benny Gold, The Hundreds, Jeff Staples from New York. There was Bata from Amsterdam. There was other brands like Crooks and Castles. I was looking at like Echo. Echo's a little older. Obey was big when I was in university. And the one thing I walked away with these kind of brands was everything they did was about perseverance and community and like-minded people. You know, you could walk into like a bar, and if somebody's wearing like, let's say, a Benny Gold or a Bata t-shirt, and you're wearing a Bata t-shirt, you kind of like have an instant connection that guy knows what's up, and he has a taste. You know what I mean? And you, even you look at that guy and you just like, you give a nod to that person, and then you're just like, oh, okay, that guy's cool. He knows what's up, right?
For sure.
So it's kind of like a secret code of a handshake. And I love that about streetwear, right? So around that time, I was also big into like sci-fi. I was super nerd. I'm a big Star Wars fan, you know? So I had this opportunity and I said, I would love to create a streetwear brand, but it was fictional. I had no idea that this was going to be a vessel for the next chapters of my life.
Of course,
And that's kind of like where I created a concept around astronauts that were not famous. You know, the ones that you don't hear about. You know? But that played an important role in getting man to the stars or to the moon or whatever.
For sure.
Right? But it was about the legacy building, right? And that's how Ageless Galaxy was spawned. And of course, I did all the mood and the bubbles and to like figure out the naming and everything. And I came across Ageless Galaxy, and I felt like that stuck. You could abbreviate it to AGLXY. And then, funny enough, like I bought the domain when I was in university.
Oh, you bought the domain?
I just bought it. I don't know why. I just bought it and I had it.
A while ago.
So, and we own aglxy.com, you know?
That's incredible. Man.
Yeah, it's crazy. I fucking love it. And then from there, what happened was I created all these graphics and I was listening to Come Back It a lot, and I had this quote that I took from Come Back It, the one I mentioned about we hope, we strive, we live, survive. And I took that and I was like, can I re-workshop it and make something that would fit Ageless Galaxy? And that's where I came up with we live to strive, we strive to live, you know? And that was kind of like the base pillar of if this brand had to exist,
Yeah.
this is where it would be, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And then I had other mottos like committed to time, you know,
Yeah.
and getting there and getting back.
Yeah.
And these were like weird, it's like my past self was creating like anchors for my future.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Committed to time, now I relate to it because when you're battling cancer,
Yeah.
the doctor tells you like you're in a countdown and there's a chance that you might be able to make it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's still the countdown.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
there's a chance that you might make it.
Make it,
Right?
yeah.
And if you make it,
Yeah.
you're just buying more time basically. You see what I mean?
Yeah. Correct.
And that's where committed to time kind of like resonates with me because I bought more time. I didn't have to be here today.
Yeah.
But I battled, I
Yeah.
won it, I fixed
Yeah.
my mentality, and
sure.
I took something and I built a brand out of it.
Amazing. Yeah.
And that's kind of like me, I bought more time. So now for me, time is so crucial.
Yeah.
So how
Valuable,
much
yeah.
epic can you do and be
time
remembered
you-
for it
yeah.
with the amount of time that you don't know you have left? But
Correct.
and that's what Ageless Galaxy is about. It's about
Yeah.
legacy building, but not just for me, but for anybody. A success story for me is if you bought a shirt from Ageless Galaxy,
Yeah.
I like hearing that you didn't buy it because you saw it on Hypebeast or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like knowing that you bought it because you understood what we're about
Yeah.
and you chose to be the better version of yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a success story for Ageless Galaxy.
For sure.
You know.
For sure.
So that's kind of like where it went.
Yeah.
And I made this brand, and next thing you know it, through my cancer battle,
Yeah.
I had a lot of time on my hands,
Yeah.
and then I resurfaced a folder, which was a university project,
Yeah.
and I decided to make it a reality.
Yeah. But the journey of building the brand, how was that for you? Like, was there sometimes, you get a little bit of doubts.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, you want to do this, you want to do that, then suddenly, I know it's a lot of belief in yourself
Yeah.
to be able to get to where you are today.
Yeah.
What is that journey like for you? Like when you reopen that folder, then what steps did you take afterwards?
Well, the first thing was when I was cleaning up my desktop and I saw all these like graphics and
Yeah.
things. The first thing in my head was like, I need some money, to make this a reality.
Of course, yeah.
And I had no other skill, but I knew how to design and I knew how to talk my way into getting projects. You know?
Yeah.
So around that time, I met a good friend of mine. His name is Georgie,
Yeah.
who's still my partner today.
Incredible, yeah.
Georgie is the other half of Ageless Galaxy.
Yeah.
Before I went to Canada, Georgie and I used to hang out. We met through a mutual buddy of ours. We used to hang out, and this is pre me cancer. Like I had long hair.
Yeah.
I was like, we were kids. We would get drunk, go out, party, whatever,
Yeah.
and then I left to Vancouver, and then when I came back, Georgie was working for a bookstore. I don't know if you remember this bookstore. It's called Aksara.
Yeah.
Amazing. I think that was like the mecca of hipster life in Jakarta. You were a cool kid if you went to Casa, if you hung out in Kemang, or if you went out to like Aksara and they had some like hyped up event happening.
Yeah.
Now Georgie used to work over there,
Okay.
and when I came back out of my shell, when I started feeling a bit better, I ran into Georgie, and this time I was bald, and I had no eyebrows, I had no hair, and then I was just like, I was still very antisocial, and then I said, I just want to get some design books and I want to head back out. And that was kind of like when Georgie ran into me and he was like, Tamish? Is that you? And I'm like, like, oh, hi. It's like, what happened to you? And then of course I said like I was battling cancer, but I was like, nothing, just battling cancer. And he's like, just battling cancer? Like, what the hell? And then we reconnected, and then he reached out, he came over to my house, and then he asked, let's hang out. So we started hanging out. And then it was great because I had a support system where I could hang out now and feel normal.
For sure.
And introduced me to more circle of friends, and then and we just started kicking it more and more and more. And then when I was getting better, we did a lot of like barbecues and like
Yeah.
community, like not community, it was just homies hanging out
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
pool,
yeah,
you know?
for sure.
And around that time, Georgie and I were talking about like, I just asked him on there, like, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? You know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and I said I had this little concept, would you want to take a stab at it?
Yeah,
And then he looked at it, and I was like, it would be great if you bring your perspective into it.
for sure.
And then one thing led to another. We hit it off really well.
Yeah.
And then one day he just said, okay, I want to come on board and start Ageless.
Yeah.
And I had a few projects running, and it was very simple. I said, you help me manage. We take money from that, we put it into the brand.
Yeah.
And then 13 years later, we have a streetwear brand. We've hit amazing collabs and milestones.
Incredible.
And then we have an agency. Till today, we still do creative and design stuff for people.
Yeah.
And now we own 2 cocktail bars, which is our new babies that we take care of with some other amazing partners.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
If you were to talk about challenges that you went through to build Ageless, even the bars, and what were the challenges that you could talk about?
Well, I think Ageless was more challenging
Yeah.
because we started it with no background in business,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So, of course, the main goal was we needed cash for the brand,
For sure.
right?
Yeah.
But in order for you to make money for the brand, we had to do other things.
Yeah.
Which is why we had the design services.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
So we would do design projects, and then we would take those projects
Put it into Ageless.
and we put it into Ageless
Yeah.
Galaxy, right? And I think the challenges were like learning about contracts, like
Okay.
that, you know, we never, for some reason, I don't know why we didn't have that chapter in university.
Yeah.
Like contracts, they're
Yeah.
a big deal, you
big
know?
deal, for sure.
And,
Yeah.
and knowing about like NDAs and,
Yeah.
you know, things, so little, well, not so little, big things that you need to know.
Yeah.
But Georgie and I, we learned it the hard way, you know, like, oh, this guy took our idea. Person X took our idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should have had an NDA in place, so let's go
Yeah.
work that out. And
Okay.
and so we kept working and building. Now, if you see an Ageless Galaxy contract, it is got a lawyer involved.
Yeah,
It's got
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, like that's where we are now.
Yeah.
But
After learning everything.
yeah, but we learned that the hard way, like,
Yeah,
or like, you know, learning that it's always good to take a deposit before you start the project. You
Yeah,
know?
for
And,
sure.
you know, things like this, like where, like it's almost like find ways to learn how to protect yourself. And then,
Yeah.
of course, the first rounds of all that money we made to put it into our brand,
Yeah.
and then messing up on productions, not knowing what's the right materials to use,
Yeah.
which factories to work with, and on and on and on. Until today, we still go through those problems,
Yeah.
you know?
But you're better at it. Than
But we're just better at it, you
Yeah,
know?
for
And we
sure.
have more resources, more options, we're more street smart.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like the school of hard knocks in the
Yeah.
making, and
Yeah.
I wish there were people like there was like a future me that came to
Yeah.
me in high school and university and said, this is how you do it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that is kind of like why I'm starting to do podcasts like this to share,
Yeah.
because I know there is a 17, 18-year-old me out there
For sure.
that is going through similar situations, and if there's any way I can help them understand like a pathway
Yeah.
to be like very like articulated on your
Journey. Yeah.
your journey,
Yeah.
then why not, you know, share that?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So
for sure.
so yeah, like there've been many hardships, you know,
Yeah.
to build a brand. Also, you have to understand this. We're based in Jakarta.
Yeah.
Indonesia is at the bottom of the Southeast Asia, what do you call it, strait,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If I say, oh, I am a streetwear brand from Tokyo,
Yeah.
from New York, from LA,
Yeah.
from Amsterdam,
Yeah.
from Paris,
Yeah. Yeah.
regardless of how it is,
Yeah.
you're gonna say, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Just because you got validated by the city it's from.
Correct. Yeah.
But if I say I'm from Jakarta, half the people in America don't even know where the that is. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
I did a pop-up in New York,
Yeah.
literally last, July
Yeah.
in 2025. And I met people, and I was like, yeah, I'm from Jakarta. And like, where's that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, not only it was hard in terms of we had to learn ourselves,
Yeah.
but now we're realizing that we have to put extra effort for the rest of the world to see who the we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
When we worked enough and worked our asses off to buy that ticket and go to Los Angeles,
Yeah.
there's a show called Agenda. It's a big trade show.
Yeah.
Georgie went there, and Georgie and I went there, and we were
Yeah.
like, we're gonna meet our heroes. It's gonna be dope. Like,
Yeah.
we're gonna make connects. We're gonna
Yeah.
do all these collabs.
Yeah.
And when we started walking the show,
Yeah.
it was so cold. Like, all of a sudden, we are a competition. If we're not a buyer,
Yeah.
they don't even want to care or talk to you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And these were the things we learned, and we were like, wow. It's like, you know, you meet like these heroes that you so-called think, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're trying to connect with them, but now they have gatekeepers, and
Yeah.
now, and we're just these two dudes from Jakarta trying to like make a t-shirt brand.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's kind of like where, I mean, don't get me wrong, LA was fun,
Yeah.
you know, but on the way back, Georgie and I, we felt a little bit of like sadness.
Yeah.
Like, it almost made us rethink, like, are we in the right business? Do we know, what kind of connects do we need? You know, how are we going to make the moves? Blah, blah, blah. But then we took that, and then we had to just re-strategize, and we
Yeah.
did. So,
Yeah. I think those moments are so important. Like, cause like all of us go through that, right?
Yeah.
When we're entrepreneurs, you know, even businesses, it's just like at that moment, we don't know whether we should go on
yeah.
or we should just be like, oh, maybe I should shut this.
Yeah.
Or should I just like re-strategize and, you know, think of more things to be able to keep going?
Yeah.
So if you were to go back at that moment, take me back there. How did you go on and just be like, no, that's it. I'm just going to continue. And figure this
So
out.
the whole cancer thing was already like a very strong mental shift on my head, where
Okay.
quitting was never going to be an option, right?
Yeah.
It was just never in my dictionary. I just deleted it,
Yeah.
you know?
That's so good.
And that's kind of like, and then, you know, you put it in the recycle bin, and then you delete the recycle bin.
Yeah.
So like, you can't,
Yeah, it's done.
It's done,
It's
you
no
know?
more there. Yeah.
and that was like my mental when I was battling.
Yeah.
And I think that traced out into everything we did with Ageless Galaxy.
Yeah.
You know, Georgie is the more realist.
Yeah.
I'm the dreamer.
Yeah.
Georgie will always come with all the speed breakers, and I'll be like, no, we're gonna do this. No, we're gonna do this. And then I'm always having this habit of like, I'm gonna prove you wrong, you know? And that's just our relationship, you know? Like this Comeback Kid show.
Yeah,
He had a
it's
big talk with me about like, are you sure? Like, we've never done a show like this. We're not promoters. We're like, are we drifting? Are we, you know? And that night he was behind the DJ booth, and he was standing and he was looking, and I was in the front. I was there, and the crowd.
Yeah.
And then I felt like Georgie was like amazed. So I decided to turn my head around, and I looked at him, and I was like. And then he looked at me, he was like, you f***ing did it. And I was like, we did it, you know, but like we did it. And I think sometimes you just have to have that. And don't get me wrong, like there's so many days where I thought I shot my foot, you know, and made the wrong decision.
Yeah.
But again, at the end of the day, like somebody's got to take that chance, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So
let's talk about Comeback Kid, because
Yeah.
how did you? Because that's also a point where you almost you probably had those thoughts like how are you gonna do this? So,
yeah, it was crazy. So the wild thing was when I said, I woke up one day and I was like, I'm so sick of all the stuff we're doing. It's so redundant. Collabs, and it's just like a cookie cutter kind of situation.
Yeah.
So I got a little bit like, oh, it's another collab. And I know our audience is also like, oh, look at Ageless Galaxy always doing collabs, right?
Yeah.
And then this year, I mean, towards the end of last year, Georgie and I, we said, let's double down on our core products.
Yeah.
Because our brand has a lot of weight, and we have amazing customers that are always waiting for our next collection, the inline collection, right? And that's something that is already a challenge in itself.
Yeah.
Making better shirts, making better outerwear, bottoms, trying to stay up to date on like what's cool. Maybe it is activewear, whatever that is, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that we're constantly now doubling down on, so we can make our brand not just like you buy it because it's hype, but you can wear it and you can constantly wear it and you are a customer. You know? When Comeback Kid was happening, I just felt like I needed something to like just break out, you know, of this pattern that we had, right? Yeah. And the thing is, when I was in university, I had a mood board. Yeah. And I had a checklist of people I wanted to work with. Yeah. And people I looked up to. Yeah. And this was the mood board that formed Ageless Galaxy. Wow. So remember all those names I talked about? Yeah. They were on the list. Okay, amazing. And I've collaborated and somewhat worked with each and every one of them.
That's amazing, man.
So Comeback Kid was kind of the last thing. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So now I need a brand new list. Yeah, for sure. Which I'm reflecting on right now. Yeah. For the next 12 years or 13 years. Yeah. What's this new list gonna look like?
For sure.
So I was like, wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be cool if we could do this? Yeah. Right? Yeah. And then this project happened a year ago. Yeah. I slid into the DM of Andrew. Yeah. You know, he was doing a show here in Jakarta, but it was a festival. Okay. Right? Festival shows are far. Yeah. Right? Yeah. There's barricades. Yeah. A lot of people are watching other bands. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And I tried to reach out and said, can I just do one t-shirt with you? Like, I want to... And then we started talking. And then, you know, I think it got complicated because, you know, he was here on someone else's dime. And I was like, okay, look, just do your thing. And then we still kept the conversation going. And then we said, okay, let's just do a collab and we'll do a drop and nothing around it. Yeah. And it just so happened during that conversation, we designed the collection. He wanted an Oasis style parka jacket and we designed that. It's really dope, by the way. Yeah, awesome. And then he said, by the way, we're doing our 20th anniversary for this album called Wake the Dead. Okay. The album, which is one of my favorite ones. Yeah. And then they're doing the Tokyo. Yeah. And then they need to get to Australia, but they need a break. Oh, so what if they came to Jakarta? Yeah. And I just said, let's do it. Yeah. Without even consulting or thinking or whatever. I just got excited in the moment. Yeah. And I went to Georgie. I was like, okay, so we're going to do this thing. And he's just looking at me. He's like, wait a second. Yeah. Like, how? Like, why don't we sell it to somebody? Blah, 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 blah. I was like, no, we have to do this, you know? Yeah. And then Georgie was like, look, if you can figure it out, I'll support on the business angle to make sure that everything is good. Yeah. And I was like, look, we have the track record. Our sponsors and people that will work with us, they're going to believe in this and they're going to do it. Yeah. And then I went on my expedition to find out partners that would support it. Yeah. And I have to say, no one understood what the I was trying to do. Yeah. No one wanted to bite on it. No one understood, like, why? What are you doing, Tamish? Are you okay, Tamish? Like, why are you doing a punk show? Like, are you 20? Like, what's wrong with you, you know? Yeah. And I was just... No, and I kept going, and it was weird because I kept like my conversations were like, hey, I was like, by the way, do you know I'm throwing a punk rock show? Like, trying to find somebody, like, would you be interested to support this? Blah blah blah. And then by the very tail end of it, you know, where I almost shut it down because maybe this is it. Maybe I can't do this. Wow. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, because of all the conversations you had and the reactions.
Yeah, and I was just like, maybe it's just not in my cards. Maybe this is bigger than what it is. Yeah. And it's not in my level to be able to achieve. Yeah. And then one day, I got a call from PepsiCo, Doritos. Wow. They wanted to do a collab with us and have this plan and whatnot. And then I said, let's have a meeting. I had a meeting, and there's this one really cool guy. He handles marketing there. And he had 2 snake bite, like, piercings. Yeah. Like, you know, when you take off your piercings, you got the stain. Yeah. And we were in this meeting, and I was just like, were you an emo kid growing up? Yeah. And then he was like, yeah. I was like, you ever listen to Comeback Kid? He's like, man, I love that band.
Yeah.
And I was like, well.
Yeah.
And then immediately I told him about this project.
Yeah.
And then he was like, how can I support?
Yeah.
And Doritos just came in to save the mission.
That's incredible, man.
And then right after that,
Yeah.
once I got Doritos, then I got Beer Bintang came inside.
Yeah.
Then the spirit brands like, oh my God, okay, I want in. And then 1800. And then
Yeah.
Jägermeister came in. And then we raised enough cash, including sales tickets,
Yeah.
just enough to make the show happen.
Wow.
And not lose anything.
That's amazing.
Is that crazy?
Yeah, it's crazy. It seems like it was just all.
And I didn't care about the money.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make this happen.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And then that's how it went down.
Yeah.
And then we executed. So that was 1 year in the making. And
Yeah.
it was very stressful. My wife
Yeah.
knows this.
Yeah.
Like I would have calls every day. My team knows this.
Yeah.
It almost sounded like I was crazy at the office. Every time I was trying to like talk about this project and how we're gonna do it, blah, blah, blah. But I did not want to do it like any other festival.
Yeah.
I wanted there to be a community meet and greet where the fans can come and hang out with the band.
Yeah.
I wanted there to be a talk where we can learn about, survival mentality from the 20 years of these guys.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that other musicians can also be like,
Yeah.
and I wanted people like me that where the music really affected them,
Yeah.
they can come and be like, your music really got me through some hard times,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that was what it was about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for
and then when the show happened, we did it at Zoo in SGBD because Andrew from the band said I wanted to do a club style show.
Yeah.
Like a real hardcore show where there's no barricades. It's like me, fans,
Yeah.
like literally in there.
Yeah.
Right.
It's right there. Yeah.
And that's how it went down, and we executed. And I can't thank my team enough. I can't thank like the band, Andrew, everybody. They were so accommodating.
Yeah.
And Zoo, all those sponsors that participated, and like, and like that, it was done. You know? And we did it.
Yeah. I just wonder about your mindset.
Yeah.
Going through that, just because it seems like you're on your own and like just like.
For that one, I felt very lonely in that one, but like. But like I did a lot of mic drops in that situation,
Yeah.
And when that mic came into my hand to do the introduction, I let it all out, I let it all out. I let the audience know you have no idea how hard it was for me to bring this together for you guys.
Yeah.
And when they started playing, there was no asshole in the whole audience.
Yeah.
Everyone was smiling.
Yeah.
Everyone was stoked. Everyone was excited.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
This is.
damn, like the energy was unreal,
Yeah. So if you think if there's someone watching going through a period of believing in their ideas so much that they still feel alone because no one believes in them.
Yeah.
But what would you say to them?
Well, like I'll tell you how the intensity was till the D-Day of that one event.
Yeah.
So, they were flying in on Sunday.
Yeah.
Right? And I put my soul into this project.
Yeah.
For the whole of 2025.
Yeah.
And mind you, it's not just that. I'm also running a brand, an agency. So I got to deal with all the shenanigans of your business.
Of course.
Right? On top of that, we also have 2 cocktail bars. We had a lot of events going on. We had a lot of guest shifts going on.
Yeah.
So I was in this very crunched out bubble of pressure.
Yeah.
Right? And it got even more crazy when the day before they flew in, 2 days before my aunt passed away.
Oh, sorry to hear you.
Yeah. My dad's sister, she passed away.
Yeah.
And it was such a dark moment, I was in this scenario where I was like, I have to be there for my dad. I have to figure out how to compartmentalize,
Yeah.
And I was going through that, and she passed away from cancer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the wild thing is, the show was on the Tuesday, and on the Monday, the 26th, 2 years ago, my dad-in-law passed from cancer. My wife's husband.
Yeah.
My wife's dad. Sorry,
Yeah.
my bad. I'm the husband.
Yeah.
So there were all these things happening.
Yeah.
And there were, of course, I was like, maybe I shouldn't go. Maybe the team can handle it. Maybe I'll just back out and be. But it was very hard, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, I was there. We on the Saturday, like there was the cremation and all that stuff, and it was just very interesting to be in that situation and be there. But when that show happened, right, I couldn't help but like, I changed it around to like, I dedicated that show to my aunt, my dad-in-law, and whoever is going through any hard time, you know. And I think that's what the universe was pushing me to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's how. I mean, it was dark. It was a dark moment, but at the same time, once everything was done, I felt like this big dark cloud just left me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then around that time, Ray Johnson, shout out to that guy. He was already doing a podcast on me.
Amazing podcast.
That was before the event and all these things happening, and now you're doing a podcast which is right after all those things are happening.
Yeah.
And and I guess life goes on, but at the same time, like it was a very dark moment, you know.
Yeah, I really think what you said earlier also ties in about the fact that you've taken out that folder of quitting is not an option.
Yeah.
And you bring that with you throughout your whole life and whatever you do. And that really helps because you're just gonna keep moving. Like even though you don't feel like moving, like you're just gonna keep on going.
Yeah.
So I wanna ask as well, with Ageless Galaxy, you've collaborated with brands that maybe some people can't collaborate with, or maybe they don't know how to. How do you get your foot through that door?
Well, there's obviously like perseverance.
Yeah.
You know, there's obviously knowing how to like. I think it's like good energy and the law of attraction.
Yeah.
I also say it's the power of Ageless Galaxy. Yeah. Everyone asks me this question: how do you get this collab? I was like, it's the power of Ageless Galaxy.
For sure. Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's just me being me, and like-minded attract like-minded. Yeah. Real will attract real. Never do a collab if it's transactional and fake. You know.
Yeah.
We've done some transactional collabs. Those are the worst ones.
Yeah.
Like you don't like. Why are we doing this? It's like one person's using the other. You know, to just like get that recognition, right?
Yeah.
But the best collaborations come together when you have a common message.
Yeah.
You are tapping into each other's worlds.
Yeah.
You know, and for us, there's always a pillar that if it doesn't inspire you, it doesn't build aspiration in you, then let's not touch it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the way we've always approached it.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So a lot of these people that we've collaborated with, they have made and built some sort of like inspiration and aspiration in us.
Yeah.
And for us to be able to do that collab, I get to tell these stories.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like there's this one illustrator, his name is Tokidoki. Yeah. Well, that's his artist name.
Yeah.
His real name is Simone.
Yeah.
He's an Italian dude.
Yeah.
He's from LA.
Yeah.
But he's heavily influenced by Japanese culture.
Yeah.
This guy, right, has done collabs with Karl Lagerfeld, Singapore Airlines, Sephora, you name it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if you see his artworks, you'll know this who this is.
Yeah.
The craziest story about this guy was when I was in my final week of Canada.
Yeah.
He was doing a collab with Sephora.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And I saw an ad in the newspaper. This is like Instagram wasn't that big yet, you know? Yeah. Saw an ad in the newspaper and I was like, man, it's around there. I want to go see him.
Yeah.
And I was already big into collecting a lot of his figurines and toys.
Yeah.
So I had one of his toys. It's like a mini Grim Reaper. It's called Adios.
Yeah.
And I brought it and it was cold and it was raining and I was standing in line and I was like coughing and I was like, I couldn't make it in.
Yeah.
Because I was so sick and I didn't know why.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? I'm tapping out. So I went across to the drugstore and I decided to buy some water.
Yeah.
Now, while I'm in here,
Yeah.
guess who I run into?
Him.
Simone.
Yeah.
And I went up to him and I said, hey, I'm so sorry. You're Simone, right?
Yeah.
Tokidoki.
Yeah.
Can I ask you for a small favor? Can you sketch in my book and just sign?
Yeah.
And sign my toy?
Yeah.
And I'll leave because I'm really sick and I want to break out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, the crazy thing about, by the way, this guy has done a bus for Blink 182.
Yeah.
I'm saying like how big he
he's-
is, you know?
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, okay, cool. I'm sorry you're sick, you know, blah, blah. Very sweet guy.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we get through it. And then I said, all right, I'm a bounce. So I left.
Yeah.
Years later, when the whole cancer thing happened,
Yeah.
not years, literally a year later,
Yeah.
cancer thing happened. And then I was doing a lot of art. I started joining a lot of like pop cons and
Yeah.
comic cons, and I had a booth and I would have my art and everything.
Yeah.
But he was always the guest, the superstar that would
Yeah.
come, you know?
Yeah.
I saw him in Singapore multiple times. I saw him in Jakarta multiple times.
Yeah.
But he was the one that people would come and he would do the signings
Yeah.
and people would stand in line.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely he would notice me.
Yeah.
And every time he noticed me, I would come say hi again and I would break out to my booth and we just kept building and building.
Yeah.
And then eventually he followed me, right?
Yeah.
Now by this time, I was working on Ageless and I started building Ageless Galaxy and I started creating the brand and doing
Yeah.
all these collabs, right?
Yeah.
Right before the pandemic,
Yeah.
I got a call from a licensing company.
Yeah.
The licensing company hit us up and it's like, hey, would you like to explore some licenses to do some collabs? And then I saw one called Tokidoki. And I said, can we meet with Simone?
Yeah.
Oh, he's just happening to be in town next week. Let's set up a meeting.
Wow. Yeah.
I show up to this meeting
Yeah.
and I thought this guy probably would not even remember me. And then I walk into the meeting and he's like, Tamish,
Yeah.
oh my God, how
Yeah.
are you? How
Yeah.
you been? You're healthy. Like, you're better now, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah. And then Georgie was there. And,
Yeah.
and then he apparently has seen my track and my growth and my build and
Yeah.
survival.
Yeah. Wow.
And then immediately he said, I think I'm going to deal directly with Tamish and
Yeah.
we're going to work on something.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know it was great.
Yeah.
So he reached out to me. He said, here are all my assets and everything.
Yeah.
Right? Can you take the lead on the design process? Because he
Yeah.
knew I was a designer. And I said, okay, yes. I
Yeah.
got all his assets. I created a collection.
Yeah.
But I had one ask.
Yeah.
You remember that toy that I got him to sign?
Yeah.
So the funny thing is, that toy is a Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
You know what a Grim Reaper is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Grim Reaper is a little guy, it's like
Yeah.
a death hanging out with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe that was death hanging out with me during my battle.
Yeah.
And I didn't know.
Yeah.
And it was giving me signs.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now the crazy thing is, I said to him that if we're going to do this collab,
Yeah.
I need to do an Ageless Galaxy version of that toy. And we did.
Wow.
So years later,
Yeah.
full circle moment with
Yeah.
Simone.
Yeah.
We did a drop, super cool drop,
Yeah.
and we released the Adios version for Ageless Galaxy
Yeah.
in two colorways, a white and a black.
Yeah.
But this time it doesn't say Adios on it, it says
Yeah.
AGLXY on it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And it was great, like, but that's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Yeah. How it all happened.
It's just a freaking life cycle and how the
Yeah.
universe was working its way.
Yeah.
So everything with cancer, I stopped looking at it like it was a bad thing.
Yeah.
I started looking at it as if it was like it was meant to be.
Yeah.
The universe kind of like said, I'm going to give you a very hard, complicated situation. And then that's the test.
Yeah.
And when you come out of it, maybe things will fall in line and how you
Yeah.
deal with it.
Yeah.
So I took that as a sign and I just followed it.
Yeah.
And I can't remember where I read this, but
Yeah.
somebody once said, like, you know, God will always give his hardest battles to his strongest soldiers.
Yeah.
And I think that was kind of like where, I'm not a very religious person, but like that really stuck with me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like where I always look at that as like every time I'm in a complication, I just feel like the universe is giving me a hard battle to solve because I'm the chosen one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure, for sure, for sure.
So yeah.
That's incredible, man. I think I also want to ask, like you mentioned with your mood board, you're almost ticking everything off.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's next?
I have no idea, bro.
Yeah.
Everyone's asking me this after the Comeback Kid show.
Yeah.
I honestly have
Thinking
no
about
idea.
it. Yeah.
I'm going to take some time to just focus on building my brand
Yeah.
internally, figuring out how to scale it, making it more stronger so we can reach more people.
For sure.
I just want to focus more on building better systems for my company, building
Yeah.
a better team, being
Yeah.
a better husband to my wife, being a better dad.
Amazing.
These are the things that right now matter to me most because
Yeah.
I don't have any more things to prove. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like I said I was gonna do stuff and I did it.
Yeah.
And now I just want to be able to like show up for my kid whenever he needs me and
Yeah.
show up for my wife whenever she needs me. you know?
Yeah. Awesome. So in closing, I just want to ask
Yeah.
for advice for anyone that's maybe battling.
Yeah.
They're battling maybe even a diagnosis. Maybe they've got a letter from the doctor and that visit and they just feel a little hopeless. And also maybe with someone they're stuck with their career and they're in their journey and they're like, they want to continue building. And, again, like you had faith in yourself. You
Yeah.
pushed through because of your belief in yourself. So what would you say to anyone watching?
Quitting is not an option, I would say.
Yeah.
Look, life is always going to throw you curveballs, right?
Yeah.
And the best way to look at it is as ask yourself why, and then flip it around and say why not. You know?
Yeah.
Because if you say why not, then you start acting as if like, oh, maybe it's like a game,
Yeah.
and you play the game.
Yeah.
In every game you play, your goal is to win it, right?
Yeah.
So why not adopt that mentality into your life as well?
For sure.
So that's how I look at it. I may be crazy to say it, but like that's how I look at it.
No,
you
I
know?
don't think so at all. But yeah, I appreciate your time.
Thank you so
And
much.
I also want to tell you've inspired me.
Aw.
You've broken barriers.
Oh, thank you so much.
And I just really feel that's a mentality that I should adopt and a lot of people that are watching should adopt.
Oh, bless,
too.
man.
So thank you so much for your time and I appreciate you and I can't wait to see what's in store for you.
Thank you so much,
you.
man.
Thank you. Man.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Follow Tamish at Pronto Pixel. Check out Ageless Galaxy. Follow his bars, Salty Fish, and Golden Tooth. And I'll see you guys on the next episode.